I was 22 when I got my first job in 2009, and my salary was 22,000 rupees. But even back then, I was very clear. I didn't want to just earn money, I wanted to build it. So from the very first month, I decided to save 50% of my salary. And I was actually able to save 50% because I was single. I used to live alone, and expenses back in 2009 were not very high. So I was able to save around 11,000 rupees from my 22,000 rupees salary monthly. So by the end of that year, of my first year of my career, I was sitting on 1.5 lakhs, and that is when I made my first investment, an under construction flat in Sonipat. It was a big leap because I wasn't sure, but I started investing, and that then became the foundation of all my investments till this point. The cost was 15 lakhs for the flat, and I had to pay around 10%, and that's where I put my 1.5 lakhs. And like I said, that became the foundation of my investment. Around the second year of my career, I took another leap. I started investing in a ULIP, which, if I look back at it, wasn't a great financial decision. But at least it taught me one thing, and that was you don't learn investing by reading, you learn by doing it. And that was the biggest lesson that I got in my financial journey. For the next few years, most of my savings went into real estate because I had bought a flat which was under construction, and I had thought that I would not take loan for it as long as I don't have to. So I started saving for it, and I started paying whatever I could. And because that flat took around 8 years to build, I was able to save for it and pay for it, along the way, and I didn't have to take any kind of loan for my first investment. But then in 2013, when I was able to save a little bit more, I had saved approximately 4 lakhs. And that is when I took another leap, and I bought a flat worth 40 lakhs, and I paid that 4 lakh upfront for that particular flat. But for that, I had to take my first loan. It was a big step. Nobody in my family had ever taken a loan. I was the only one. And honestly, believe me, it was a big leap for me. But I looked at it as a forced saving. I didn't look at it as debt. I looked at it that it would force me to keep investing into something which I believe in. And back then it was real estate. I was regularly investing into an appreciating asset. So that was the upside. In 2014, I finally started my first SIP, a 10,000 rupee SIP per month. Then in 2015, I added another 10,000 SIP. So now I was investing into SIP, real estate, and everything put together. I didn't have a huge capital, but I had consistency, and that made all the difference. To be very honest, consistency and discipline made the entire difference in my financial journey. Over the years, I've kept my EMIs going. They are not going right now, but that's later in the story. SIPs are still running side by side. In 2017 is when I bought my own house. I was married then, I had a kid, and this was obviously through a loan. And by 2023 or 22 or somewhere around that, I was completely debt free. I had paid off my Noida loan, I had paid off my Gurgaon flat loan, and now I was kind of living a life where I had assets and I didn't have to pay anything to any bank or anything. So rentals were coming in from both the houses, and I was not paying any kind of rent because I was living in my own house. Now I was kind of free, and I thought, yes, I've been able to build a few assets. I didn't have too much liquid assets because I was only doing an SIP of around 20,000 rupees for over a period of 5 years. So I had 10, 12, 15 lakh rupees at that time, but it wasn't a lot of liquid assets. I had assets in real estate. But I didn't have any windfalls. There was no side hustle. It was just very slow and steady progress that I was doing. But post COVID, a lot of things changed. I saw a lot of up and down happening in the market, and I was already investing. I had some corpus in mutual funds which had gone up and had come down drastically. And that is when I got my lesson that you buy the dips. When the market goes down, you buy into the market. And that is when I started investing heavily into mutual funds, because by then I had grown into my salary. My wife was also working. We were staying at my ancestral house. We were not really paying too much for our house, for our household, because we didn't have to pay any rents. We didn't have to pay anything else. We were staying with our family, and that saved us a lot of money. So I started investing heavily into mutual funds, equity diversified funds, index funds, and a bit of debt for the balance. In the last 5 years, most of my wealth growth has come from these investments, actually, because now all my savings go directly into compounding assets. So if I could summarize 15 years of experience, here's what I would say. Start early. Even small amounts would make a huge difference. I started early, and that made a huge difference in my life. Second, real estate has been a major part of my portfolio, and it taught me discipline. I was investing forcefully. When I look back at it, if I had not invested into real estate, I would have probably burnt that money. But it forced me into investing. So that was, again, a huge upside for me. If you have leveraged your position, you've taken loans to buy some assets, pay them off as quickly as possible. Don't chase quick returns. There's nothing like quick returns. It is always slow and steady. And if you are consistent at it, you would actually make something big out of it. And the biggest skill is not picking the best stocks. I have never been a finance person. Yes, I am a BCom graduate. I've done MBA in finance, but I've never been someone who's been to trading and anything. I am just a very, normal, common person that you would probably meet. But I have stayed consistent, and I have stayed disciplined in my investment journey. So today my corpus stands around 5 CR, and I can confidently say the secret was never high salary or luck. It was patience, discipline, and time. If you're just starting out, remember this. You don't need to be rich to start investing. You need to start investing to become rich. I'm Navdeep Dalia, and on this channel, I'll be sharing everything I have learned about money, investing, and wealth building the real practical way. Subscribe to my channel, and let's grow together. Thank you.